in my file I need to stay one step ahead. So I've already created this sketch back here. I'm going to do this sketch a little different than what we're doing this sketch. I made a mistake in this sketch and I thought I could do it over, but then I thought I better show how to edit because editing is important. And so we'll do it the hard way on this one, and then we'll do it the easy way on this one. But let me turn off those sketches and I'll recreate that sketch to show what I did. So I started a new sketch on this plane, and then I drew a line from this point down, and I dimensioned that distance, and actually I projected this line as well. So I'll do P for project. I'll select this line from the previous sketch. And so because this is projected from the previous sketch, if I change the dimensions on the previous sketch, this projected line will also change. I'm going to change this to construction, and then I'm going to dimension this. So I'll dimension from this point to this point, and let's do that as 0.6. Alright, and then I drew a line from here down. Now actually I would probably just do this as a rectangle, but anyways I'll draw a line from here down, and I'll come over, and I'm going to come back up to this point right here. Now I want this line to be horizontal, and it tells me it already is, and I want this one to be vertical, and then I'll do midpoint between this point and this line. It all turns black. It's all fully defined. Now I'm going to change these three to construction lines, so I'll select those and hit X on the keyboard to change those to construction lines. I then did a 3-point arc, and so I selected, this is my beginning point, this is my ending point, and then down to here. When I did that, I realized that I didn't really want that arc like that. To match the original geometry as close as possible without doing a spline, which we may do a spline in a future tutorial. The spline is more expensive to manufacture, and when you hand sand this anyway, you're going to end up with more or less an artistic spline curvature. So there's no real point to increase that manufacturing cost. So if I come up here to this point, I see this glyph for two coincident constraints. One of the coincidents is for this line, and the other one is for this line. And so I want to delete the coincident for one of these, and I may end up deleting both of them. And so let's come up here, and I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to drag that point down here. Now the reason I dragged it down here was to give me room to put a smaller arc in up here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to delete that coincident constraint, and so that I got the wrong one. I got the one to this line. I didn't pay attention rather than to the point, but I'll just go ahead and delete the other one. And then I'll bring this, let's move this away, and then I'll move this back up to connect that back up. Alright, and so that gives me some room to put the smaller arcs in here. Now I also drew a horizontal line across here, and I can either do it horizontal or perpendicular, and so in this case it put the perpendicular. Let's undo that. If I scrub, if I draw this line and I come down here and I scrub this, don't click on it, just scrub. Well, sometimes you can get it to force it to put a particular constraint that you want. We'll go ahead and deal with the perpendicular, and then I'll do coincident between these 2 points, and let's drag this back over here again, and I'll change this to construction line, and then that gives me room to put this arc in between here. Let's go ahead and dimension this radius though. We'll dimension this as 1.05, and I may have to drag my geometry again to give me some room here to work. And then I'll do my 3-point arc from this point to this point. Now I actually want it tangent to this arc, but it might be difficult to get it tangent. It's actually putting it tangent to that line. So I'll just come down here a little bit further, and then I'll put in my tangent. So I'll do tangent this arc to this line, and tangent this arc to this arc. Okay, then I'll repeat that same process over on the other side. So let's drag this over a little bit, give me some room. I'll do a 3-point arc from this point to this point, and I'd like again for it to be tangent to that arc, but it might be difficult to get it automatically, so I'll just do it manually, tangent here and here. And when I do that, that geometry turns black. It's all fully defined.